WNBA PA, what you gonna do when that clock runs out on you? Hey family, this is the Rayster. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We keep it honest and unfiltered over here. And family, as you already know, the hottest thing going right now in the WNBA is the WNBA CBA negotiations. Actually, it's the only thing going on right now, but you know what? I find them absolutely fascinating. And we're going to talk about the nuclear option, okay? Now, you had Adam Silver. He had to step to the mic the other day. And basically, it wasn't really an update. It was more of a flex of power. But what he said is that the current state of negotiations is unfortunate. Man, do you know how hard that probably was for that man to say that? And if he's saying that right now, can you imagine what's going on behind the scenes? He was applying pressure and he was flexing power, okay? Now, the owners gave a hard no to the players' counter proposal, right? The player said instead of 30%, they'll do 27% of gross revenue. Now, the owners are not with that. Not the gross. They'll take, you can get 30% of the net. You can't get 30% of the gross. The players also dropped down their salary cap ask from 10.5 million to 9.5 million. Okay. So they're moving a little closer to the owners, but not enough, right? So the owners are like, man, offer is not serious. You need to try again. Translation: we're not moving unless you move towards us. That's what the owners were telling the players, okay? Now, the real issue, of course, is the gross versus the net revenue. The players want a model like the NBA, the 50-50% or the 50-50 model, right? Revenue split. And they want that now. But if you look at the historical reality, the NBA took nearly 40 years before players got the revenue sharing in 1983, because the NBA was founded, in 1946, okay? Now, the WNBA was founded in 1996. They started their first season in 1997, okay? And they got their first revenue share model in 2020, okay? So that's just 24 years. So if you're comparing timelines, right, since the ladies like to always compare and look at what's going on over there with the men, then they way ahead of the game. Okay, the women are a decade or so early as far as getting a revenue share, right? So really, if they wanted to compare themselves to the men and be like, well, we want to get what the men got, well, let's wait another 10 more years and let's see what you get. Now, the one thing that I have to say is that me personally, I appreciate Tasha Cloud. Natasha. I go ahead and call her by name. Natasha. I appreciate her. I think she's a cute young lady. I mean, even though right now she's all into her masculine energy, but if you saw what she looked like when she was a little girl, or when she looks like a lady, she's pretty nice. She's pretty nice. She is. She's pretty nice. A lot of those studs look pretty nice when you dress them up and make them look like women. But anyway, Natasha Cloud, she gives us a lot of insight into how the ladies are thinking in the WNBA, right? Especially at the top. And they feel like they took an L in 2020. And I don't know if I would call that an L, considering how the league was losing money for all those years, and then you had COVID, and the owners couldn't make any money during that time at all. They probably had to write off the whole season because, no merchandise sales, no ticket sales, even though they wasn't selling a lot of tickets anyway, right? But, they can, give away a lot of tickets and write those off, right, to the kids and have them come through to the stadium. They couldn't make any money that year. And the WNBA at that point was hanging on by a thin thread, So the ladies, they had to give a league-friendly, give into a league-friendly deal in order to keep the league afloat. So they did that. So now the league is looking like they're making money, right? The league look like it's booming. And so the ladies, just like Rumpelstiltskin, when they come back, you make a deal with them. You make a deal with Rumpelstiltskin, you're going to have to pay. Whatever the deal was, whatever you signed on the dotted line, he going to hold you to it. So that's what the ladies are doing, right? They came back like, hey, listen, we gave you that deal in 2020. Now we get money. It's time to pay the piper. But I don't know how that's going to work out for them. I mean, because the owners say that 70% revenue share or that 30% revenue share of the gross is going to cause them to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And they're not with it, right? They've been losing money for the last 30 years. And they finally got some money in the pot. And then the ladies want all that. And it's not happening. It's not. Because you got the NBA, they own 42% of the WNBA. Then you got the WNBA, they got 42% ownership. And then you have the investors. They got 16% ownership. So really, in all honesty, if I was an investor, I'd be like, and I got say, I'd be like, I understand how y'all ran this league, but when I invested in this league a couple of years ago, I expect to make money. Now, if you want to buy me out for 4 times what I paid into it, since y'all increased y'all value 4 times what it was, if not more than that, then I'm good. No, know what? Not even 4 times. Let me get 10. Yeah, that's how that game going. So yeah. So the owners, they gave the ladies a hard no, right? Like, hey, that $10.5 million down to $9.5 million salary cap, that 30% down to 27% salary cap, that's a no, right? That's not a serious offer, right? And Silver claimed, like during his speech, that there was no hard deadline. Now, we all know that's cap, right? How in the world you're not going to have a hard deadline, as far as in your mind when things got to get done, when you got the expansion draft, when you got free agency, when you got college draft, when you got the training camp, right? How are you going to say that you don't have a hard deadline, a date on your calendar when you say this deal needs to be done or we are screwed? Yeah. Translation. There is a deadline. And it's coming fast, but he just can't say it publicly. So I agree with Nafisa. One side is going to have to fold, right? Or we're going to get a player strike or owner lockout, right? And we're going to talk about both in upcoming episodes, right? If the union strikes, the league will probably play the season anyway. That's my opinion. They already got things going on. They got the schedule. They got this media deal. I don't think that they're taking these negotiations personally, but when women deal with women, it's hard not to take things personally sometimes, right? That's just the nature of women. A lot of times they don't forget, right? When you're dealing with men, they be like, hey man, that was a good negotiation. You play hardball, but we got the deal done. So let's go ahead and let's play ball. The women, on the other hand, they take things a little personally. But anyway, I think they're going to have a season anyway. I think they will bring in replacement players, and I don't believe the quality of play is going to go down, right? It might be even better as far as I'm concerned. We saw it with Ari McDonald when she came in off the street during the middle of the season, and she balled out. Same thing with Shea Petty and Odyssey Sims. They led the Fever to 1 game of the finals against the best team in the WNBA in the Las Vegas Aces, right? They won, 4 championships in the last 4 or 5 years? Last 5 years? Yeah. Asia Wilson, you know what I'm saying? She got GOAT status right now. And they took her to the brink. And Aaliyah Boston, you know what I'm saying? Kind of shut her down a little bit. And from what I hear, Aaliyah Boston has stepped up her game. For real, she got a bag. I mean, what? She post moves, 3-point shot, passing, defense, block shots. Well, she got a bag. She got a bag, right? Pump fake, right? No handles. Well, what? Come on, dribbling the ball off the court. Come on now, Leah. Yeah, so they're gonna have to see her for real. So yeah, I think they're gonna have replacement players. For sure. Most of the league, they are free agents. Okay, and I think they're gonna put it out there that if you're a free agent or you want to come in and play, we can play under the current status quo. Under the status quo agreement from 2020. And then when we sign the new deal, then we'll move you, we'll change the contract and we'll move you over to the new deal. And a lot of ladies that are part of the WNBA PA, they're probably not going to have gigs when the strike is over. That's how I look at it. This is a good way for the WNBA to clean out the league of players that they're not particular on and to institute a style of play that is more palatable for the viewers or the fans of the game, right? A lot of folks don't like that physicality. A lot of folks don't like that. Me personally, I understand that it's a physical game, but sometimes, man, they do too much. You know what I mean? Grabbing, holding, doing this, doing that. I mean, come on, man, show some skills. You know what I mean? Make the call. And I agree with Stephanie White. The refs, they do need to make calls. They do. All right, so are they closer? I mean, technically, yes, they are closer, but realistically, they're not even close. I mean, there is a deep chasm, miles apart as far as the numbers. Yeah, they move, but they didn't move enough, especially for the owners, right? They like, man, y'all didn't, 27% gross. No, you still like almost 2 times of what we can actually do. We can do 15%. I mean, we can push it and do 16%, but we got investors that expect to get their money. We can't give you the whole pie. We can't do it, right? And so the ladies are like, well, you got to count basketball-related income. You got basketball-related income that you're not counting. You're not counting the franchise fees. You're not counting this and you're not counting that. But the problem with counting the expansion fees of $250 million is that that's a one-time fee. One time, right? The fees that they count as basketball-related income are fees that are continuous, right? Like the deal the TV deal, like merchandise sales, like ticket sales. They consider that basketball-related income, not stuff that happened one time, like some fluky stuff. They don't count that because what? A franchise deal that happens, every blue moon. Come on now. But anyway, family, to wrap this up, if they strike, and that's what I believe that they're going to have to do because of, there's no middle ground for these guys. There's nothing in the middle. They miles apart as far as, what both sides want in regards to the revenue share. The lady's going to strike. And if this goes to court, right, they're going to have to decertify the union, file a antitrust lawsuit against the WNBA. And that has to be a class action lawsuit. So that means other ladies like Natasha Cloud, she's probably going to be up front and center, going to have to sign on the dotted line and sue the league. And if they win, and I don't think they will because the WNBA is not a monopoly, but if they do win, it's all about the judge that you get. The league is going to fold. So this might be the end of the WNBA. Sorry to tell y'all that, but you know what? Let's see how this game goes out. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how they go out. If they go out. Anyway, family, tell me what you think in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I said what I said, and I stand on it. Be blessed.